G'day legends, I hope you're all awesome. On today's video we have the REVV G50 on the bench. This is an all-tube 3-channel 50-watt head with a bunch of extra fun features on it that make it super flexible for playing live or recording. This features a built-in 2-notes torpedo load. There is a stereo DI out on here. You've got the ability to instantly access any of 6 user IRs on here. You can connect to the torpedo remote via Bluetooth, or you can connect it to your computer with a USB-C cable and manage the onboard IRs, as well as features like the 2-notes double tracker and reverb. Furthermore, there is a built-in adjustable digital reverb on here. There is a built-in adjustable noise gate. You've got speaker outputs for just about any combination you could think of from 4, 8, or 16 ohms. This is MIDI controllable. It comes with a foot switch so that you can select a bunch of the different functions. And then the 3 channels each have a bunch of different modes going on. So if I switch over, say, to the first channel, which I guess you could call the clean channel, you've got a level control and 3-band EQ. That 3-band EQ is shared with channel 2, which most people would probably think of as the crunch channel. Channel 2 has its own drive and level control on there. Then Channel 3 gives you, I guess, what we'd consider the classic REV generator specs on here. You have 3 different aggression modes on here. You've got a switchable bright for each of the 3 channels on here. Then the 3rd channel lets you have a kind of low cut control before the amp, so you can tighten things up. It has a fat switch on there, and then you can turn the reverb and the gate on. This is all adjustable per channel on here, so you can switch from, say, like a big reverb on channel 1 to having the other 2 dry. If you just want the noise gate on the 3rd channel, you can do that as well. And again, this is all MIDI switchable. Furthermore, there is a global presence and depth control on here, and you have 2 foot switchable master volumes. It's like they've thought of everything you would want for a studio or recording app. Let's just hear this in a little jam first. I'm going to play my PRS DGT. I'm mostly going to use the dirt sounds out of this. I'm going to see how greasy it can get. Did I mention there's an effects loop on this? Because there's an effects loop on it. I'm going to run the Boss SDE3 in there for a dual delay. Then we're just going to hear some tones in isolation with this through a cab mic'd up with an SM57. We're going to hear a Strat, a Les Paul, and then my PRS in drop C. Might hear a bit more of this DGT. We'll just kind of talk through some of the onboard options that are great for going DI, whether you're recording or playing live. Let's go. Okay, I'm using the built-in load now, and what this lets me do is switch between any of the 6 onboard cabs that I want. This is totally customizable, either using Bluetooth to your mobile device, where you can use the Torpedo remote to kind of use the baked-in cabs that come with it, or you can load your own IRs. I'm just going to roll with the baked-in cabs, except for one of them. I'm going to use my free IR, LT-TV Mix 7. I'll let you know when I use that. Furthermore, there is this level control on here, and there's also a headphone amp, which is really handy if you want to practice or record silently. So let's just go back to that channel 3. I'm going to go to the blue aggression mode on here. I love this with the bright switch on, and let's just roll through some of the built-in IRs. I think that's a pretty good set of stock IRs on there. I did load my own IR into slot 4, which you heard. You can hear on slot 5, that's got the built-in 2 notes double tracker turned on, which sounds super wide and fat. And then in the 6th slot, it has some reverb, which is coming from the 2 notes as well. So that's separate to the built-in reverb. What I like about the 2 notes remote app in there is not only can you just change the IRs, or you can use the 2 notes dyne IRs, so you can move a virtual mic around to find your sweet spot and blend different mics or IRs on there. You can also use some post-processing on there, so you can add EQ, you can add the twin tracker in there, and you can add some of the 2 notes reverb on there. And again, all switchable on here, which I really like. Furthermore, being able to integrate this with MIDI. If you're going to use this in 4-cable method with something like a Fractal or a Line 6 device that allows you to do that, then you're going to have basically everything you can want, like a best of both worlds thing, where you've got so much control coming from the digital realm, but you've still got an all tube amp at the heart of it. And for anything else, this thing has that all tube aroma going on. There's nothing like the smell of tubes or the warmth of tubes, especially in winter, to keep you going on there. The switchable masters, I think, is awesome as well. And there are a lot of options on this amp, and that is one thing that people might criticize it for, that you're going to spend too much time tweaking. But for me, the bright options on each channel, you're just going to set them and forget them depending on your guitar. Like with a Strat, you're probably going to have them off. With a humbucker equipped guitar, you're probably going to have them on. And then when it comes to the aggression modes on each channel, I think on the 2nd channel, you'll probably just find a mode that you like the most, like slightly less gain, a moderate amount of gain, slightly more than a moderate amount of gain on there. But with the 3rd channel, having the 3 options on there, it's kind of like having a really great high gain sound, then a boosted high gain sound, and then a fatter version of that to play leads. So on something like this, if we go over, let's use that twin tracker sound again, because that was pretty fun. Just the way I've set this up, and especially with that low cut on there, to keep things nice and tight, I think that worked really well with my PRS in drop C. Basically, you'd have your sort of your rhythm tone, and then you'd have your lead tone, and then maybe like a skinnier version of your rhythm tone. overall, I think REVV have hit a really nice sweet spot with this amp in terms of flexibility and character. The amp definitely has its own voice across all of the channels on there, but particularly on that third channel, those aggression modes and the way that they're voiced, then the switching options to tailor this to different guitars means that you could probably get just about any modern hard rock or metal sound out of this without having to use a boost, which I really like. But then you've got, let's say, the more classic tones out of channel 2 and channel 1 on there. I feel like I need to do at least a couple of follow-up videos with this, because running channel 1 with pedals I think would be really interesting to hear, just using it as a clean platform. Running channel 2 as, I guess, some kind of modded JCM 800 style thing and boosting it and using a couple of different guitars to get some different textures out of it would be really interesting. And then just exploring channel 3 a little bit more on there, especially with the master controls. You know, being able to have the built-in load here means that you can run the master right up and just bring the overall level down, or do the opposite, keep the level quite high and run the masters really low, so you're mostly getting the preamp character out of that. Let me know what you'd like to see featured in some future videos with this amp, because it is feature rich. There's so many things that you can do with it, but at the end of the day, it's got a great high gain sound, which I think is why most people are going to go for one of these. And it's got some really, really sweet additions in there with the second and the first channel on there. So again, sounds like a REVV, which I kind of expected on there, but it's also got plenty of features that you don't have to use all the time. You know, they're not in your face like, hey, there's a feature that you're not using. You know, are you sure you don't want to use this? Which I think a lot of overcomplicated amps sometimes do. Having a bunch of the functions on the back panel so that they're set and forget, and then having the little push switches on here so that you can basically change things as you see fit. And also, like I did there, being able to store things is, again, things that you would just expect from an app in 2024. And I think a lot of those expectations have become expectations because companies like REVV have taken the chances to actually kind of push amp design a little bit, or at least push the feature set. Anyway, I've waffled on long enough today. Let me know your thoughts on the G50 in the comments section below. Let me know what you'd like to see with it in the future. And if you dig what I'm doing here on the channel, there's some links to support me directly in the video description. Big thank you to the team at REVV for sending this amp out so that I can make this video and a few extra videos. Until next time, go and play your guitars, make some glorious noises. I will see you then.